And it's got airbrushed areas here where there was some pen work done, and then we airbrushed the background, and then we removed, scrubbed out the paint from these little oak leaves and from the acorn caps, and it requires some pretty precise scrubbing. And what I would really like to use for those is these things that are no longer available. These are fabric painting brushes for hobby fabric stuff, and I've worn them out, and they're made out of nylon, and they're cheap, but they really did the job when they were pointed, but they become unpointed with my abuse very quickly. I've always wanted silicone to work, and so I've used a number of silicone paintbrushes over the years. What I'm going to do now is move the tripod. All right, so we got these new black things I got on eBay. Inexpensive, not particularly well made. No big deal. They're black silicone, and they were cast. No, they were machined from what it looks like 1/4 inch or 5mm stock or something. And I haven't tried them yet. I haven't used them on anything. These are better made, available domestically. I guess they're made in England. They're color shapers from Royal Sovereign. And they come in gray and they come in white. And they are wonderful for moving paint around when it's wet. You can get really expressive stuff going with them, oil paints and stuff. And that's what they're designed for, and that's what they do best. They have a shape, particularly this one, this domed pointed thing. I would love for that to be really firm so that I could scratch out little acorn tips, caps, and oak leaves. Scratch out the dry paint. I don't put a lot of binder in my paint. I put almost no binder in my paint, but still, these flimsy little things, you have to work at it, and I just want to remove that paint. And a brush is too broad, too coarse, and these things are too flimsy. Something that's very, very hard, like a piece of wood, a wood stick, or even a crow's quill or a goose quill, it doesn't seem to grab the paint the way I wish that these things did. So my search is for a more firm species of these scrubs. These are perfect. This is a China painting scrub. This is actually a pretty pricey one. It's got blue silicone, and you can see the seam where it was cast, but it's not very, it isn't very precise. The point, I'm going to drop a brush here. The point it isn't very well defined, and I could try machining it myself, but I'd rather have something that was already made that way. This is a piece of bamboo with an old toothbrush, 1960s toothbrush, toothpicker thing, and it's very firm rubber, and it's getting a little dull. I use this all the time. If I got a little vine or something and I've spray painted the background, I want to wipe out the vine, this grabs the paint and moves it, and you can see it. You can see what it's doing here. It does the job for me, and it has the feel on the glass that I like. This is great for super detailed, but it's a little flimsy. I think it's natural rubber. And this I got from a China painting shop. This is a Sharpie, but in the end of it is this very hard rubber, wonderfully hard rubber that is used for setting, the glazers use it for setting plate glass on in installations. It comes in, extruded rods or however these things are made. This stuff is great, but I don't want to, the only thing I can do is cut it with an X-Acto knife, and maybe I could sand it down, but at any rate, I see these things already made in a nice shape, and it does have the shape I want, this one. And I buy 5 of them just for one I want, and lo and behold, it does a pretty good job. It won't scratch out this really thick stuff here. And this does not have a lot of gum arabic in it. It's got clear fire, which is like a 2% gum solution. So if I was going to scratch out that, I might be able to use this. but I'd rather use something more fine. And this is getting closer, but it's not quite what I want. I want this. This stuff is great. You can really scratch with it. Actually, I sandblasted this, so that's not going to be scratched. But that's what I want, and that's what these things do. And now that I've used these on this dried up palette, they do the job. I will use these. They scratch off the paint as long as it's a typical light application of enamel or something. If it's, you know, if I'm brushing on or airbrushing on sandblasted surfaces or put a ton on, then I don't deserve to remove it. I should know better than that. There you have it.